Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, today we'll continue with town planning. Now, satellite growth. The term satellite is used to indicate a body under the influence of a more powerful body but possessing its own identity. Similar is the case with satellite growth. It is seen that when a town reaches a certain size, some kind of satellite growth is bound to take place. A satellite town or a satellite city is a concept of urban planning that refers essentially to a small metropolitan area which is located somewhat near to the main parent city. As is quite visible from the diagram, this is the parent city and these are the satellite towns, and the satellite towns are in the periphery of the parent city, and they are mainly connected by highways and other modes of transportation. Now some of the features or characteristics of a satellite town. A satellite town has its own government as well as people have their own corporate life. A satellite town is a town in itself in a full sense, except the fact that people depend upon the parent city for some of their supplies. The satellite town is connected to the parent towns by local trains as well as buses in such a way that the people of the satellite town can reach to the parent town without any difficulty whatsoever. The people of the satellite town are free to decide their economic, social, as well as cultural activities. A satellite town is located in such a way that it is located away from the green belt of the parent city. The satellite town is mainly a residential area having only local shops as well as children for school. As there are no industries permitted in a satellite town, the people of the satellite town will depend on the parent city for employment opportunities. The size and development of the satellite town are controlled in such a way that it does not become rival to any parent town in future. One of the main disadvantages of a satellite town is the necessity of long journey to work. It's sometimes also pointed out that a satellite town may be deprived of entertainment and cultural activity, and this factor may be responsible for preventing the development of the community. Now, scattered growth. Growth of a town is said to be scattered if it takes place in an irregular way or in an unplanned way. Scattered growth results in numerous problems which involve traffic congestion, encroachment of industries on residential lands, development of slums, lack of parks, playgrounds, and other recreational centers. Usually, the problems that evolve from scattered growth are serious problems that prove too difficult to be solved in future. Now, planned growth. The growth of a town is said to be planned if the town develops in a predetermined way as is conceived by the town planner itself. The overall growth of a town is controlled by enforcement of suitable rules as well as regulations. Such an orderly growth avoids the clashing of the main activities of the town, and there is also rational distribution of various blocks such as residential, industrial, and commercial. There is also provision of various amenities such as proper width of streets, drainage lines, water supply lines, parks, as well as playgrounds. The clear example of planned growth is some of the recent and modern towns in the various parts of the world. Now, horizontal growth. Horizontal growth is the growth of towns and cities with respect to direction. In horizontal growth, a town develops horizontally in all directions. Horizontal growth is obviously possible in such areas where the cost of land is very low. There are various advantages and disadvantages that are associated with horizontal growth. Regarding the advantage of horizontal growth, in general, there will be saving in the cost of buildings, which will usually consist of 2 or 3 stories. Horizontal growth does not require high-tech personnel for construction purposes. Because of the horizontal growth, The height of the buildings is not that high, and there is maximum possible use of natural light. The density of population in horizontal growth can also be restricted, and there is also economy of floor space as there is no provision of columns and lifts. The surrounding marginal space can also be utilized for garden space. Now, regarding the disadvantage of horizontal space required more land, so it can be very uneconomical in places where land values are quite high. Also, the foundation cost per unit area will be more in horizontal growth, and there will be also absence of living group. Now, vertical growth. In case of vertical growth, the buildings of a town are designed and developed as multi-storied flats. It's quite evident that such type of a growth is possible where the land values are very high. It is because of the availability of mechanical lifts, escalators, and elevators, the vertical growth of the town became possible in the form of skyscrapers. There are various advantages as well as disadvantages that are associated with vertical growth. Regarding the advantage of vertical growth, as the people will be staying and using common amenities of the same building, a sense of group living will develop in vertical growth. As the foundation cost will be distributed between all the floors, the foundation cost per unit area will be low as compared to horizontal growth. It will be possible to make use of modern construction techniques such as fireproofing, soundproofing, heat insulation, air conditioning, and high speed lifts. There is considerable saving in the land, and hence it will prove economical where land values are quite high. There will be also economy in the cost of construction of buildings as the buildings will be designed as framed structures with repetition of typical floor plan at each level. For the floors of the vertical buildings that are above a certain height, natural sceneries such as sea view, river view can be enjoyed in a better way. Now, disadvantage of vertical growth. In case of natural calamities such as earthquakes, fire, it will be difficult for the inhabitants of the upper floors to escape with safety. The density of the population will obviously be more. The design of the flats, in fact, will be stereotyped, and there will be no scope for personal likes or dislikes. The evils of the group living have to be tolerated. In case of a failure of lift or a pump to raise water, it will cause great inconvenience. The people staying at upper floors will be deprived of natural living near the ground floor. There will be wastage of floor space as lifts and supporting columns will have to be provided. Now, site for an ideal town. The physical characteristics of a site play an important role in determining the position of the proposed town. The important features to be considered for the site of an ideal town include availability of natural advantages, availability of electrical power, availability of means of communication, the climatic conditions should be conducive, the contour of the area should be conducive, there should be development of the in the surrounding area, the drainage of the area should be good, otherwise it will result in waterlogging which will in turn result in various other problems. There should be availability for the facility of sewage disposal, the fertility of the soil should be conducive for growth of plants. Floods, which are a natural phenomena, should not occur frequently. There should be growth of trees in the surroundings. The nature of soil should be conducive for growth of plants and trees. The various position of the streams and lakes have to be considered for the site of a town. In fact, considering the various physical features of the area, the final selection of town is made in such a way that it is able to function for the purpose which it is primarily built, as well as at the same time the cost of various amenities and services will be brought down to a minimum possible extent.